All right, next up, we are here with ELISE Cordell.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. How are you, Rafa?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for taking the time to be here. We super appreciate it. Intro for you. You are the champagne ambassador for Pernod Ricard, specifically with Perrier Jouet and Mumm. Is that correct?
Yes. So I handle those. And then we also have a Provençal Rosé, Chateau Sainte Marguerite.
Okay. So within the portfolio, you're really specifically those three.
Mostly. And then Mumm Napa as well.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Very cool. So obviously you're here at the conference and you are one of the speakers for how multiple generations are reshaping the beverage landscape.
Yes.
If you could give us kind of your boiled down version of the most important points that you were bringing to the table for that seminar.
Absolutely. So I think one of the main points that we tried to get across is that we can be cautiously optimistic about what's coming on. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. Everything that's happening is cyclical. You know, we made the joke that, every generation has had an RTD.
Yeah.
But then we also can avoid toxic positivity, right? So we don't have to kind of fool ourselves to thinking that it isn't a challenge right now, but we have to come to the table with solutions and we have to listen to each other and actually hire and listen to people in each generation in order to understand what their true preferences are.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, that's a great answer. So can you give us some examples of how you do that?
Yes. So, I mean, even just something like SommCon here, I think that there's been a lot of discussion around this. And so our keynote had a lot to do with data around generational preferences. So that's one thing, right? So actually leaning into the idea of analytics. And so, of course, working for a supplier, we have a wonderful analytics team that really distill all of this down. Partners like Data Central, for example, can give us real things to work with, but you still have to know how to interpret the data because otherwise it's just numbers.
Sure.
But then also after our seminar, there was Gen Z Speaks. So we specifically were bringing the newest generation, arguably the one that might be the most difficult to market to in terms of wine, bringing them in and actually hearing about their real life experience in their restaurants, at their wineries, for example. But I think what we could do next is really just think about the consumer because the end consumer is the goal for all of us. And the consumer doesn't necessarily have the same perspective about wine that we have and don't even use the same language that we use. So thinking about inclusivity versus prescriptiveness. So kind of more of the suggested. So one of the biggest things we were talking about wine writing, and I brought that to the table because of course we have our industry greats. Jancis Robinson, an amazing voice within our industry, has
we just interviewed the main writer for her.
Did you?
Yeah,
Amazing.
Samantha Cole
Yes,
Johnson.
I know her.
She's fantastic.
Lovely. Yes. And, I think, the 67 Pall Mall awards just came out. So it's wonderful to get to recognize all of those wine communicators. But now we have new voices that are coming to the table.
Yes.
So, like a Kelly White, she's done amazing things for All About California Wines. And then she just came out with Wine Confident. So all about how to enjoy wine versus this is what you need to know about wine. So kind of making it more personal. So I think the more that we can help people personalize their beverage journey, the more that we'll have people for life versus people for just a short time.
Yeah, I love that because you are seeing that. You are seeing so many creators now, first of all, just everywhere. But there's a lot of people who are doing some really cool things who have massive followings. Like you can see that they're really speaking to a large audience and people are gravitating towards like, I think I don't know if we need more people in the space of the technicalities behind wine, like don't hate me. Okay. I know this is there's a lot of technical seminars on here. You need both.
Yes.
What I'm saying. You need the different
balance.
Just
like we want on our glass.
You need the different voices, right? And I think there's such a explosion of those new voices now that, we were talking to somebody yesterday who does reviews for Trader Joe's wines and she's blown up and that's fantastic. Like for people want to know just like what the basics are, what can I expect and what's delicious, what's not. I think that's really amazing and it's really cool to see because it's relatively new within the last 10 years.
I agree. And we all start somewhere. And I think sometimes we forget that about even where our individual palates started. So we kind of have to take the time machine back to remember what our first beverages were.
Yeah.
Because everyone has that different palate. Everyone has had different opportunities to try different things. Like I grew up with wine, but not everybody did.
Right.
So, like the way that I was drinking in college was not the way that my friends were drinking in college.
Yeah.
But their perspective is just as important as mine.
Yeah, for sure. So in the seminar, were there any other like really impactful insights that stood out to you that you heard from anybody else or that were brought up? Something that you're taking away personally from that seminar?
Yes. I love that as a question. I think one of them was just, we can't take ourselves too seriously. And I think sometimes, with wine, because we think about the romance of it, especially because we work in it, we can be too close to it in order to see the broader picture.
Yeah.
And so Regina actually brought up an excellent point about how a winery decided to make a pumpkin spice Chardonnay. You know, like a trend that is super huge, especially within my generation, millennials specifically.
That just
you know,
hurt. That just hurt my soul for a second
well,
as
and
I
that's
heard
the
that.
whole thing, right? Like, so someone like us, we're like, oh, cringe. But like, if that's an opportunity to get people into wine, and if you're leaning into the preferences that people already have, like, imagine the anticipation. Like, I know women who literally set a countdown clock to when PSLs are dropping at Starbucks. Why wouldn't we, you know, lean into that and say like, it's okay. This is a very specific flavor, but why not? It kind of goes together. We're kind of helping people even maybe with like food pairing opportunities. Like wine can be fun. And so like that was kind of one of the biggest things for me is like staying curious and just imagining, you know, like the possibilities versus kind of the blinders of what wine enjoyment has to be.
Yeah. Keep an open mind, right?
Yeah.
We're going to taste some wine.
Ooh.
Okay. Are you ready for that?
Oh, I'm so ready. I haven't blinded in a really long time. It makes it fun.
So please choose, what are our options again?
Ooh.
1 through 12, except for number 3.
Okay. Well, there is data out there, speaking of data, that often women will choose number 7 if there's like a 1 to 10 situation. So I'm going to choose 7.
I love it. Okay. While she's bringing the wine over.
Yeah.
Is there any data that you can share with us to confirm how a big shift is happening in the younger generations in their consumption? Because the reason I asked this is I did a little bit of research, not a lot, leading up to this, because that is such a heavy topic. Not a heavy topic, but I think it's a very popular topic right now on how the younger generations they're drinking differently. And I found, even just in the quick time that I did it, very different data. Some was saying that actually they're drinking more, they're just drinking different things. So I was like, do you have anything on your end that kind of supports that?
I know. I think it depends on like what data you're actually looking at. And so something with my organization that we look at is moments of consumption.
Okay.
And so we break that down individually into like, what are these drinking occasions that people are getting
moments
into?
Of consumption.
Yeah. So like a happy hour versus, so there were categories, right? So there's like the relax and unwind. There's the make an impression. And so I think for
the
them,
everyday drinker.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's my category. Just kidding.
Right. And, I think right now, I think the one is the community connection.
Okay.
So like your happy hours, your girls' nights, things like that. That's where Gen Z is really leaning into the most. So where it's about community building and it's about time that's spent versus just the idea of going out and drinking something.
I love that.
And so they may be drinking less often, but they're creating more meaningful drinking occasions when they do it.
That's awesome.
So they want it to be worth it.
Yep.
Which I get. Time is short. It's the only thing that you can't get back.
That's a great piece of input. Thank you. That's phenomenal. Okay, we have the wine over here.
Wine.
Ooh, we got a red wine. Okay, let me give you the rules real quick. So you can pour, thank you. Don't touch the glass yet, because when you touch the glass, your time will start. We're going to keep you timed.
90 seconds.
Because we got to keep this moving for 2 reasons. 1, so that's because we have to keep moving. And 2, so it's going to force you to not overthink it and just give us the things that are very impactful to you from this wine.
Okay.
And, you know, people want to see, don't overthink it. Just anything that comes to your mind, let us know. Speak to us on that. And
I'm already excited because even just looking at it, it seems like it's right in my wheelhouse. I am a crunchy red girl all day long.
I love it. Hold on. Okay. When you touch your glass, the time starts. Best of luck to you.
Ooh. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So on the nose, we've got some really nice kind of like astringent fruits, your crunchy fruits, like I mentioned. Oh my God, I really like this wine, you guys. It feels like it's either a really nice Cru Beaujolais or it's a really nice Sicilian red.
Why do you say that? Oh, these are classic testable varietals only, kind of like on the certified or advanced. So we wouldn't do Sicilian red, but
okay. So
why are you taking it there? What's the wine giving you?
I'm taking it there because it's giving me bright fruit. I'm not getting a lot of oak treatment, but certainly maybe like a little bit of oxidation in terms of the overall mouthfeel. I've got crisp acidity on the back there. Not a ton of tannin, but certainly good structure. Yeah, like it's giving Cru Beaujolais.
That's a great breakdown. So any other initials you want to throw in? Or are you going Cru Beaujolais?
That's kind of what I want to do.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Age range, more or less?
I'd say like probably something between 2019, 2023.
Okay, I love it. Cassandra, what do we have?
What are we doing? Number 7. Who she be?
Pinot Noir.
Stanford from Santa Rita Hills.
Wow. Hey,
that's super fun.
That's tasty.
It is tasty.
I
love doing a blind because it takes all the arrogance out of it. Right?
Yeah. No, and you just get, well, first of all, it's a lot of pressure too. So thank you. That was fantastic. Like doing blinds is tough on its own, let alone like, with, a mic in front of you and cameras. No, that was a beautiful breakdown. That's actually very good. A super intense fruit.
Yes.
The fruit is super lifted on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was the last. I threw in some things. This is one of the wines that are here at the seminar, at the conference.
Yeah.
So I grabbed some wines and threw in some things last minute. So that was a freshly added on wine.
Yeah, Santa Rita Hills coming to play.
Cru Beaujolais, that's very, you're there.
Well, and especially certain parts of it. So if you think of like a Fleury or even like some of the ones that are like maybe further south, like within the region, like that pink granite and stuff, which is kind of similar to some of what they've got in the Santa Rita Hills in terms of like, yeah.
Great tasting.
Gamay is related to Pinot. Cheers.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.